No one saw this coming as the Toronto Blue Jays take care of business once again in a spring training game on the back of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. We saw Jeff Hoffman's debut, but one thing we saw was Dalton Varsho come out and have an unbelievable performance. So to break that down and discuss what it means going forward, is there are a lot of positives to take away from this game, as well as a couple other updates surrounding the Jays. The spring training continues to get underway, and they have another game this evening. So stay tuned for all that in this episode, folks. But before we get into it, if you are a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been fantastic. So if you want to help us towards the goal, the big goal of 17,000 subscribers, make sure to hit that button. But ladies and gentlemen, the Jays win yet again. And obviously in spring training, we're inching closer and closer. March is just around the corner. Tomorrow, the actual result and the final end score of the spring training games do not matter. But what does matter is the Toronto Blue Jays players and different takeaways you can have. And Dalton Varsho today, and we're diving into Vladdy as well, went 3 for 3, but Dalton Varsho is the one we're going to be discussing here in a minute. But let's go over the box score a little bit. We saw a bunch of regulars play, and like I mentioned in the intro there, in tonight's game, we're going to see Alek Manoah. We're going to see, I believe, Addison Barger, Anthony Santander make his debut. But speaking of debuts, we saw Dalton Varsho. You can see that there. He went 1 for 3 with a home run in his first at-bat of the spring. We also have Vladdy going 3 for 3. George Springer with his new batting stance that I covered in a video a couple days ago looked really good. Andres Gimenez. The Jays put up 10 runs. You even have guys like Miles Straw quietly having a fantastic season. Not season, spring training, obviously. I doubt he'll have a fantastic, big league season. But regardless of that, what we're going to do now is show you guys the home run that Dalton Varsho hit. And Vladdy, of course, had a home run as well. It was just a fantastic game for the Blue Jays. And again, it's spring training, but you can see this here, Dalton Varsho, and he's dealing with a right shoulder injury. So to see him come out, this home run means a little bit more than the usual spring training home run, because having a guy who was supposed to be missing a lot of time still isn't really expected to break, obviously in a break camp, but start opening day on March 27th against the Orioles. For him to come out in his first at-bat after dealing with an injury all towards the end of last season into spring training and to hit a home run on the second pitch that he saw is super encouraging. And no one saw it coming from Dalton Varsho, because whether you're high on Dalton Varsho or not, his bat, if he can hit league average, hit 20 home runs, he hit 18 last year. The sky's the limit for this guy. He's one of the best defenders in baseball. And for him, again, to come out and hit a bomb is just extremely encouraging. Again, not only encouraging, but exciting as well, because that's what you kind of live for in spring training. We're seeing guys either, some players like Stuart Burrow, all these different guys, Charles McAdoo, trying to fight for their spot in break camp. But you also have guys like, of course, Dalton Varsho, Bichette, even George Springer, who is making a ton of adjustments to their batting stance, which allows them, in George Springer's case, he's getting to the ball a lot quicker. He's having a very quietly good spring. You can see that there. He has an 1,800 OPS in spring. He looks fantastic. Even Andres Gimenez hitting very well, had a nice RBI single today that drove in a couple runs. It was a very encouraging, or drove in one run, sorry, but it's a very encouraging game. It was just a very encouraging game overall. Again, Springer drove in a couple runs. Andres Gimenez got a hit. He didn't have any RBIs. And then, of course, Vladdy with, 2 RBIs. And in case you missed the game, here's Vladdy's home run as well. And this one was not only an absolute rocket, it was to dead center, over 400 feet, absolutely crushed. And then a little bit bittersweet seeing the first Vladdy home run of spring. And this, again, he's not extended beyond the season. So it's going to be interesting to see what he actually does this year. It's a contract year for him. Every home run like this, you're thinking, okay, the Jays, going to cost the Jays a lot more money. But also, this is a team now where, again, this is spring training. I'm not going to overreact too much. I'm looking more so into what the actual changes are and things like that rather than the actual results. But man, oh man, seeing Vladdy hit a home run brings back good memories. George Springer looking not like prime Georgie, but very good out there. And then, of course, you have Dalton Varsho hitting the home run. A few other takeaways from this, and there's a lot of them, because we also saw Chris Bassitt make his debut. Jeff Hoffman touching 97 miles an hour, ladies and gentlemen. And again, to wrap up on Vladdy, 3 for 3, a home run, 2 RBIs. And his home run actually wasn't over 400 feet. It was 394 feet, but same thing. Hit 106.1 miles an hour exit velocity. Just absolutely insane. Now, as it pertains to the pitching, Chris Bassitt making his spring debut, and he came out and said, and they said it in the broadcast there before the game, he's coming off of what he considers the worst season of his career. And he put up above a 4 ERA. He wasn't great, and a lot of the Jays pitching staff was either dealing with injuries, underperforming, and a lot of that was part of the reason why the Jays were so bad last year, was A, the offense, B, the pitching. And of course, the bullpen in general just being very bad, which is, we'll dive into in a minute, is much improved on that front as well. But Bassitt went 2 2/3 innings, giving up 1 hit, no walks, 4 strikeouts. And for Chris Bassitt, a guy who's not known for his strikeouts, he's a contact pitcher, and that's why he's one of the most, people who are excited the most about Andres Gimenez. To have 4 Ks, very, very good. Now, again, you're going up against a team, they weren't really employing their full MLB lineup. But that being said, it doesn't really matter. You still take care of business when you can. And again, he went 2 2/3, got 4 Ks. Uriel Rodriguez continues to struggle. He was walking guys. Every ball that was hit off him was hit extremely, extremely hard. 4 runs for him. Boyer gave up 2 runs. Again, a lot of these guys weren't really, aren't going to be in the bullpen. But Jeff Hoffman with a clean inning, finished it with got a strikeout in the inning as well. Finished it with a strikeout, and he touched 97 miles an hour with his fastball. Jeff Hoffman is going to be one of the most crucial pieces to this bullpen. He's going to be the closer for the team. You have Jimmy Garcia behind him. You have Eric Swanson. You have Chad Green. You have all these different players. We're expecting to see Eric Swanson soon as well. Like, the way that the team looked today, especially even like guys like Ernie Clement, who had a bit of an error, but he bounced back and still was able to, despite his error, play good baseball, right? It's good to see. Seeing a lot of the young guys as well. Kirky didn't, unfortunately, get a hit tonight, but we're seeing Miles Straw even go out there, and you can see this here from Thomas Hall. Follows under spring training stats that don't matter. Miles Straw is now 4 for 8 with 4 RBIs this spring, following his run-scoring single. I mean, there's a world where they do, use Miles Straw this season, whether that be, in a backup role. He played a lot of AAA last year. That was basically his entire season was, of course, in AAA. So it's going to be very interesting to see ultimately what happens with that. And Kike Matheson was mentioning insight here surrounding Dalton Varsho, and as it pertains to him, he says that he hit too many balls high in the air last season, so he wants to drive the ball more often. He says he's working on getting down and almost feeling like I'm chopping it, which is helping him find a happy medium. And again, that happy medium was seen today with not only the Vladdy home run, but for Dalton Varsho. Again, he's coming off the season with a 700 OPS. To see him absolutely, and this one was a no-doubter. He crushed this ball in the first at-bat from an injury. It not only shows that the shoulder isn't bothering him offensively, which we kind of knew. He's been taking BP for a while and working on his hitting, but it's not affecting him with his power either, which is something, again, when you have injuries, you're always going to be wary of swinging hard and things like that. His defense is going to be the biggest question mark going forward, because he will break, he'll be on the opening day roster for sure. And obviously, he's going to be the starting center fielder for this team for 130 plus games this season. But if he can break opening day on the team, because with his health being sorted out, that would be huge for this team, especially because the start of the season is an absolute gauntlet for the Toronto Blue Jays as well. And regarding that, you can see here defensively, Varsho says that is truly a day-to-day progression, but his next step is starting to throw over 80 miles per hour regularly. Once he's at that number, he can start throwing to bases, simulating a game. He's still to be determined on opening day, but it could be close. So from what we initially thought was going to be him being out for weeks to months to start the season, following last year, him having surgery during the season last year, being out for the year, and then, of course, spring training, he is now even looking at potentially making his debut on opening day. So let me know down below what your thoughts are. A ton of positives from this game. You have Dalton Varsho hitting home runs. You have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hitting home runs. And hopefully, Dalton Varsho will be ready for opening day. But let me know down below what your thoughts are. Things are very encouraging. Again, it is just spring, but there are a lot of positive signs to take away. And again, the Jays play later tonight with a lot of other guys. Elvis Martinez, Arjun Amala, Anthony Santander making his debut. A ton of regulars down there as well, Arjun Amala. So it's going to be interesting. Thank you guys for watching.